Good evening, and welcome to Web Speech Platform. During the next few live stream podcasts of Web Speech Platform, I will be doing interpretive readings from a section in my book entitled Web Files. And the section where I'll be doing readings from is Self-Advocacy Diaries. And tonight, I will be doing an interpretive reading of Journey to Become a Self-Advocate. In fact, this is an essay on how I became a self-advocate. In 1954, after being stuck in childbirth, doctors had to use a pair of forceps to get me out. Some damage was done. The doctor, realizing what happened, and it was not too late, came out and told, and it was too late, came out and told my dad, "I'm sorry, but we should have taken him by C-section." And since my birth in 1954, I have been disabled. Unfortunately, my early school years were plagued by numerous problems. In school, I was held back several times. By 1963, a new program started up at Loera Elementary School for students with learning disabilities called EMR, which is educationally mentally retarded. This was Anaheim, California. There, my teacher, Mr. Crum, was called from Francis Scott Key Elementary School in Anaheim, California, to teach one of the EMR classes. Mr. Boone was the other EMR teacher, and so my special education began. I was in Mr. Crum's class my second and third grade year, and he was a fantastic teacher. Beginning in fourth grade, my family decided it was time to mainstream me. So next, I began going to Francis Scott Key Elementary School in Anaheim, California. I was placed in regular classes with Mrs. Jerva, another fantastic teacher. She helped me to acclimate in regular classes. As it turns out, not every student in EMR had an intellectual disability, myself included. EMR was later renamed EH, which is educationally handicapped. Eventually, it was just called special education. While I was at Francis Scott Key Elementary School, some buildings were added to the lunch area so that special ed could be taught there at that school. My favorite teacher, Mr. Crum, returned to Key School to teach one of the classes. While there, I often received remarks saying that I should have been in those classes. People said that I didn't belong anywhere else. Eventually, the problem grew worse at Trident Junior High School. I was in the advanced marching band at Trident, and fellow band members made it known that I didn't belong in that band. Later, I went on to graduate from California State University, East Bay in 1979. After a while, my life became a social disaster until the changing life experiences of Christianity totally changed my life forever. Now, many schools have adequate special ed classes for disabled students who need them. Mr. Crum is gone now, but I owe him and special education a lot for all they did for me in making my life's journey an easier one. That's W.E.B. Baxter. That's me. And now, as an added bonus, I'm going to read another short article, a couple paragraphs, entitled The Power of Adequate Health Care, also brought to you in my book, W.E.B. Files. Adequate health care has helped make my life easier. Thankfully, it was through adequate health care that I was diagnosed with various disabilities. After diagnosis, I could receive appropriate medical care. Then I could work with these disabilities and live a more prosperous life. Medicaid, for those who have it, is every bit as vital as to people with IDD, that's intellectual developmental disability, as special ed programs are. Furthermore, I want children and young people with intellectual developmental disability, IDD, to have a brighter future. How can that happen if Medicare is slashed? Slashing Medicaid and funding to the people with disabilities who need it would be as detrimental as cutting special education programs from our schools. This article was published originally on my website, on the website of the Arc of the Pikes Peak region around the summer of 2017. Because at that time, politicians were considering repealing the Affordable Care Act, which would have had a big negative effect on Medicaid and health care for people with disabilities. The effort to repeal the Affordable Care Act was voted down. Hallelujah. And I sent a note to Senator Gardner, and it says, people with disabilities don't make enough money to pay our medical expenses. We don't get paid enough, yet are still expected to pay the same costs for our medical services. There needs to be modifications for all insurance to protect people with disabilities. And that's tonight's interpretive reading. And now I will be, for the next few broad podcasts, I will be doing a series called The Realities of Being a Self-Advocate. And there are 4 parts to that. I mean, they're published in this book, and I also published the 4-part series into a short adult pamphlet called Self-Advocate Diaries, which can also be purchased on Amazon. My name is Bill Baxter, and this is Web Speech Platform. You all have a good evening now.